Today, my guest is a Hall of Famer. He's a former world champion. He is a world travel professional wrestler. He's an icon. He's a legend. And now he's the star of the new documentary, Nevermore, Mr. Raven. Raven, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
I can't complain. You know, the holidays and then the cold weather's finally coming in over here in Indiana, so it's hit and miss lately. So let me ask you, you cover it in the documentary, but getting into professional wrestling, was that a hard thing for you? Was it something that you thought would be easily obtainable? And was anything more difficult than what you thought when you first started getting into wrestling?
No, it wasn't difficult to get into wrestling school. That's easy enough. And then once I went there, then it took me 8, 9 months of calling every 3 weeks and sending videotapes to try and get booked in the territory. That was much harder than I thought it might be. And then I started to realize that this is going to be a tough business to crack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And how hard was it to, try to branch out and try to get into other territories or different places outside
Well,
of the
once you've
area
been in
you were
one territory, it's not that hard to get into another.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it wasn't for me, luckily. Thank goodness. Yeah.
When did you feel like you were first starting to be able to get your name out there and travel a bit more?
Get my name out there. When I got to Portland, I think. When I got to Portland, even though they weren't covered a whole lot by the magazines and stuff, my name was starting to get around the business for my talent.
Did you enjoy your time there? Was there a
Yeah, it was
specific?
2 of the best years I ever had. I learned so much about how to work there especially from the grappler. Grappler is one of the most underrated guys in the business.
Was that going to different territories and different promotions during that time before ECW or WWE was a thing? Was there a specific one that was your favorite, or was it Portland?
Now, Portland was my favorite until I got to ECW.
And how
And
did
I
all that
still, and I
go on?
still, I think those were the two I had the most fun in, were Portland and ECW. And
What
then the
was
first year at WCW.
what was so fun about working in Portland?
You got to wrestle every night, 6, 7
Hmm.
nights a week. You wrestled 20 minutes a night. You had to wrestle in front of the same crowds week after week. So you had to learn how to work,
Hmm.
or just not have a good audience, response to your match.
And how long were you there before? Did you go to ECW shortly after that time period, or did you
No,
go to a
I
couple
spent two
places?
years in Portland.
Hmm.
Then I went to then I went to no, went to Global for a little while. Then I went to WCW. Then I went to WWE or WWF. Then I went to ECW. Then I went back to WCW and WWF.
Hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't keep a job.
Now, in the documentary, you touch about it where Vince wanted you to like work behind the scenes. Was there any
Well, I did
particular?
work behind the scenes. I did. I was an
Yeah.
associate producer of Raw. They were
What? Yeah.
grooming me for the booking committee.
Was there any particular like storylines maybe that you had pitched or characters that you had pitched during that time period that just never came to fruition during that time?
No, not really. It wasn't. I didn't have that position on the card to start, running ideas by him or anything like that. This is before there were booking committees and booking
Hmm.
teams. This is when it was Pat and Bruce, in there, and then like, Ole or one booker at WCW.
Hmm. And what was it that you think that Vince drew to take a liking to you to want to work alongside him during that time period?
He saw my creativity and my cleverness, and he saw that I became prepared. He
Hmm.
had me do a commentary with him when Lawler had to take time off, took a vacation, I guess.
Hmm.
And he He liked what he saw because I brought notes and material, and I came really prepared, and he likes that because wrestlers don't usually come, or they didn't come prepared back in the day.
Hmm. Now, had you stayed with WWF at that time, what are some of the things that you would have done as you would have climbed the ranks, or stuff you would have liked to have done if you would have chosen to stay in that line of work?
They had taken me off TV as Johnny Polo
Hmm.
because Vince said he didn't the character was a disconnect with me, which I agreed with. I never thought I was Johnny Polo. Shane
Hmm.
McMahon should have been Johnny Polo, but I was being groomed for the booking committee, so
Hmm.
I probably would have ended up on the booking committee, I guess.
Was there any particular talents you would have
Well,
liked
not
you
the
would have
booking
booked
committee, the
for?
booking team of Pat and Bruce.
Was there any direction you would have taken WWF had you got onto that committee like they were grooming you to do?
No, I don't know what would have happened. I never thought about it. I don't think Pat and Bruce would have let me got the job, to be honest.
Hmm. And then you said you left WWF, and then because you wanted to continue to be an in-ring talent, so that just wasn't a hard decision for you to do because of your passion for being in the ring.
Yeah, no, it was a hard decision because I'm turning down, I'm walking out on six-figure income in healthcare because I
Yeah,
had an office job, and but it wasn't. I didn't get in the business to be behind the scenes. I got in the business to be on camera.
exactly. And what was your next move after that?
Um, ECW.
And how, everyone has their own version of their time in ECW. And was it really the Wild Wild West out there for you
Yeah, it
particularly?
was. Yeah, but I loved it. I loved it.
Hmm.
Two of the best years of my life were the first 2 years I was there.
And I feel like working with a crowd like that, you'll learn what works and doesn't work real quick and help you develop who you needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, the
Hmm.
audience didn't. The audience was they thought they were so much smarter than the boys, and in some cases they were, but I thought they were easy to outsmart because the easiest guy to con is a con artist because they think they're above it. So
Hmm.
I would do spots like I would back then everybody all the other companies had screw job finishes
Hmm.
like nobody was ever beaten clean, and that was one of the things ECW promised was that they would have all clean finishes, all. And so we set up a finish that looked like a screw job finish, and me and Dreamer, and the audience, and so we both go down, or I'm down, and he gets super kicked by Stevie or something, and while the refs looking away, and they thought this is a screw job finish, and the whole building starts chanting, "No more screw job finishes! No more screw job finishes!" And me and Tommy just look at each other, as I'm crawling over to cover him because we know he's kicking out. We know we have him in the palm of our hand. And so when he kicked out, they're like, uh, they were mad. They were actually happy and mad at the same time. They were mad they got it wrong, happy that they had a finish, that it turned out that it wasn't a junk finish, that it was going to be a clean finish. But
Hmm.
but yeah, that was so much fun to me to just outsmart. Like I lived to outsmart the audience. But you should. I mean, you
Hmm.
should try to outsmart the audience all the time.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you want the audience to always to never really know where you're going with something. As long as it tells a logical story.
hmm. Was there any particular moment in ECW that truly means something to you personally? Because I'm sure a lot of people share their favorite moments of your time there, but is there anything specifically that means a lot to
Yeah,
you?
that moment was one of my biggest. One of my favorites is when Junior had me get his color for him, and I
Hmm.
split. I went coast to coast with the blade and left him. He was just a sheet of blood, and then he wanted me to, and then I handcuffed him to the ropes to the front, so he's in front in a crucifix position,
Uh-huh.
and then he wanted me to chair shot him, and I chair shot him, and the blood went splattering everywhere. It was great. But also the Gordy match and
Hmm.
the Gordy match. because people thought, because Gordy had been in a coma, his brain wasn't functioning as well as it used to,
Hmm.
and I was able to pull out a great match with him to the point where the audience thought the old Gordy was back, and then the next week, when he went back to not being the old Gordy, people
Hmm.
saw, they and also the double dog collar with the pit bulls. That was another classic of
Oh
mine,
yeah.
or of ours, not mine, of ours. Me and
Writing,
Stevie.
yeah,
I couldn't have
writing
done it
that.
without Stevie, that
No.
match.
Hmm.
Well, no, it was a tag match, but the we did the super duper bomb where they used to do the super bomb
Hmm.
where it was a power bomb but on from the top rope, and then we did a super duper. We were driving one day and I go to Stevie, oh, we got to do a super duper bomb, and he's like, I go with you on my shoulders, and he's like, yeah, boss, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, wait, I don't want to actually do this. You're supposed to say no. You're supposed to not want to do this. So I can, like, shit, now we're going to have to do this. So that was terrifying being
Oh, I
trapped up
bet.
there like that.
Riding that wave through ECW, when did you first know that other places were interested in you and coming in to work for them?
I don't think WWE was.
Hmm.
And WCW, I found out, and then a couple months before I went, I guess, or yeah, probably something like that.
Is that something that you had to think about, or is that just something you knew that you were ready to pursue and change?
Ready to pursue and change.
Were you ever worried that they wouldn't get who Raven was, or character direction that you were going, or what was the?
I'm an optimist. I felt like I wasn't worried about it.
Hmm. And how was your time with WCW at that point in time?
It was great for the first year, but then they wouldn't elevate me, and
Hmm.
uh, and I really felt like it's time for new faces. Like me and Jericho and Conan. You know,
Hmm.
Booker.
Oh, what WCW could have been had they got behind all of you guys, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's too many things that they've done that were done wrong that would have to be. There's books written about it.
Hmm.
I don't think we would have us alone would have been a savior. You know.
But you guys like helped elevate and you helped like bring in that new era of talent, and you guys were all so very talented and you were doing something different, and it was just a fresh breath of air at that time in WCW.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. It was good. You know.
Hmm. What do you think happened after that first year? Because you said it kind of went downhill after that first year.
Well, the first year, we did the vignettes. We did we sat in the audience. We did all that. We did a lot of cool stuff. But
Hmm.
the problem was is they never let the flock get over. The flock will always get beat, and so with them always losing, it put a stigma around the whole, all of us.
Hmm.
But as Sullivan would say, some got to die so that others may live.
So at that point in time, your frustration started to grow within working there.
Yeah. No, my frustrations were with the company.
Hmm.
Whoever. It was. I don't know. I just got frustrated with a lot of people. And a lot of things at that point.
Was there any moment that stands out during WCW?
Oh yeah, tons of stuff. The sitting in the crowd for one. With the
Hmm.
audience and getting paid six figures to watch a show the hottest show on TV. I mean, it was great.
Not a bad gig.
No, not at all. Um, the you know, the Goldberg match. Um, because I was the first one to get a really good match out of
Hmm.
Goldberg. And what else? I don't know. I mean, trying to think. My brain's tired. I've just done like 3 or 4 of these already
Oh,
podcasts.
sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, you gotta promote if you want
Hmm.
people to see your stuff. You gotta promote. You know, so I gotta promote the movie. You know, but
Oh yeah.
my brain's drying up.
Was there anything that you had, any certain thing that you may have pitched in WCW that you thought would have been a really cool idea, but they just weren't behind it?
I'm sure I did. I just don't
Hmm.
recall off the time. You know, it's been 30 years.
Yeah. So was it when you decided, when did you decide you were going to leave WCW?
When Eric Bischoff called a meeting and said, "Raven, if you're unhappy with the company, there's the door." And so I walked out.
And then you went back to ECW for a short time.
Yeah.
How was the return to ECW? You were already a major star to begin with, but I'm sure like you popping up back in ECW, that must have been a good feeling for everybody involved.
Yeah, me and Sandman always argue who got the biggest pop in company history, whether it was me coming returning or him returning. But the
Hmm.
real biggest pop ever was Gordy. It was Gordy hitting the ring for the first time in my match with him, which I take no credit for because it was Gordy coming out. But that was the biggest pop in company history. Mine was
When
second.
uh,
Sandman's was third.
when
Although if
did
you
you?
ask Sandman, it's his is second, mine's third.
Oh, I guarantee
Yeah,
it. When did you know that WWE was interested in you coming in after ECW?
I forget. I mean, I don't. The timeline is.
Hmm.
I did a lot of drugs and took a lot of chair shots to the head.
Was it an easy decision for you to go to back to WWE at that time?
Yeah, I think so.
Now you spent a little time in HWA while you were with WWE, working with Les Thatcher and them in
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
when
How
they weren't using me, so they sent me down to HWA.
any memories from that time period?
Now that's when I developed my sleep disorder.
Mhm.
So that's so now that I think about it, that's a sucky time. It's a sleep disorder I've had ever since, where I
I hate to
wake up
hear
a
that.
million times and
Hmm.
in the middle of the night. So when I wake up for the next day, I'm exhausted.
I hate to hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, but I'm not complaining. I mean, it could be a lot worse, you know.
Hmm.
So at
So
least I can fall back to sleep.
yeah, your return to WWE, was there that you know of? What was their plan for you? Was it a little you working with them, them working with you, and bringing Raven to WWE, or did they just not get it?
I don't know. They, I just think they didn't want to use me, you know.
Hmm. No matter what you pitch, they just
Yeah,
in one ear out the
until
other.
I finally went to Vince and pitched my Seven Deadly Sins storyline, which he loved, and then he told me I'd like you to be on the booking committee,
Hmm.
and offered me a spot, but I didn't want to book, you know, I didn't want to do
Hmm.
that, and so, but then over the next week when we were supposed to start it, Vince goes, we're going to do it on Heat instead of Raw. And I go, how come?
Hmm.
He goes, Pat doesn't think you can handle the load. And I'm like, I've been in WCW. I was the top guy. I mean,
Hmm.
right under the top. The ECW, I was the top guy, you
Hmm.
know, but Pat just didn't like me, you know.
I always enjoyed that look for you during that time period. I always enjoyed the way that you were dressed, the face paint and stuff like that. That was always stood out to me.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you.
look, I always truly enjoyed. Like I just it stood out, and it was so cool to see, and it was exciting to like that. Your match on Raw, I can remember the way you had your hair, your face paint when I just remember that look so well. I always thought that was a really cool version of you.
You mean the one with the kilt?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Hey, it's fun wearing a skirt, to be honest. Like you get a nice draft up your bunghole. But no, but
How
I found the skirt to be really comfortable. Now I
I
know why
was
the Scottish wear them.
I was really disappointed that they didn't do more with you during that time period because it was fresh and it was new and it would have been I think a really cool run for you.
Yeah, I thank you. Yeah, I really it broke me. I was brokenhearted when they did that. When they didn't
Hmm.
use me well. But and I became insufferable to be around. So I also so that wasn't good for my friendships or anything like that either. I was
Hmm.
just really miserable at that time
I,
frame. Thanks for bringing it up.
I'm sorry. I'm a piece of
No, I'm
shit. I
kidding. I'm
apologize.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really think about that part of it, like how it can mess with you mentally, and it can, certain people tell you certain things, and then like, well, we're just gonna go a different direction, or we're gonna release you, or like that's your livelihood.
Well, no, you know what else it is? More than that, it's
Hmm.
people. Most people, they they uh they quantify their job with who
Hmm.
they are, what they
Hmm.
do. Most people judge who they are by what they do. Like if you're a janitor, you
Hmm.
could be happy being a janitor, but if you're getting yelled at by the boss, then you feel like you're a shitty person. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or if you can't find a job, then you feel like you're pathetic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they say people think that what they do is who they are. And that's how they get their. If you don't get that promotion, then that means you're a loser. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it doesn't. None of that means that. Who you are has nothing to do with what you do. You
Hmm.
know, like if you could be the most unsuccessful guy in the world and be the nicest, sweetest, kindest man on the planet or woman on the planet, you
Hmm.
know. But unfortunately, we all quantify the who we are by what we do, and it took me a long time on a shrink's couch to separate the two.
Uh-huh.
And she told me, she goes, it's like she said, it's a simple enough thing. Why would what you do have anything to do with who you are? I mean, other than your job. But I'm saying, but as
Hmm.
about what you feel about yourself, why would that affect you? It shouldn't affect you. You should still feel, you should have self worth. But I had a low level of self worth, and so the more my I got, the more my job didn't pan out,
Hmm.
the way I wanted it to. The more self worth I felt I lacked.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's how most people are without even realizing it.
Hmm. And then TNA calls you, and then that was a whole new chapter for Raven, I feel.
Yeah, I'm so glad they were there to catch me when I was falling.
Hmm.
And even that, I wasn't used as well as I thought I should have been, but that's okay because I was still being used better than I was before in WWE. They always used
Hmm.
me well there at TNA. I would have done things differently. It's not so much they didn't use me well. I mean, they did use me well, but I just disagree with a lot of the philosophy of the booking. There.
Hmm.
Like I think Vince Russo is great with the mid card and lower card guys, but
Yep.
his theory on top of the card I disagree with. Like he thinks that the belt is just a prop, and it shouldn't mean anything, but because it's fake. And he goes, why would you cheer for a fake belt? I go, why would you cheer for a fake anything? It's like you agree to suspend disbelief. And then by agreeing to that, you have to believe that the belt is the most valuable prize in the sport.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you got nothing. So I
Yep.
disagreed with him on that, you know, and uh,
Hmm.
and I wanted to do longer storylines and stuff, but Jeff was more a short term storyline guy
Hmm.
because in Memphis they would always shoot for the Monday night. They would shoot TV Saturday for Monday's house show in Memphis, and
Yeah.
that's the booking he grew up with. So long term plans weren't a big thing for him.
Hmm. Is there moments that stand out during your TNA run and ultimately into the TNA Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the TNA Hall of Fame does. That made me feel good. I felt really good about that.
And rightfully so, sir. You much deserved. You belong in many other Hall of Fames as well.
Thank you.
So who approached you? How did the documentary come to be? What made you say yes to doing that?
Um, documentary. Jordy Day, who's a great director, he sent me an email saying he'd like me to like do the documentary on me, and I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit. I figured he was just some guy trying to scam me, like the prince from Nigeria that keeps
Yeah.
calling me, he keeps emailing me, that son of a bitch. I've sent him $1 million. How much more does he want? No. Um, but yeah, so I told him, I'd do it, but because I wanted to tell my story, but I was too lazy to write a book,
Hmm.
and I didn't want somebody to ghostwrite it because I'd have to edit it.
Hmm.
I'd either have to edit it profusely, or I would just let it be, and I don't want to just let it be out there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I wanted something that it's my opinion, that's not somebody else's view of it. Which is ironic, but with Jordy, the director, he understood my vision for the movie. Like I understood his, and he understood mine. Because I told him, I said, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do just a rah rah piece. I wanted this to be a warts and all.
Hmm.
Show the complexity of me as a person, mental illness, um, all the negative characteristics of me as well as the positive.
Oh yeah,
And I think he's accomplished that.
I
It's
agree.
painful for me to watch. It's really painful, which is a good thing. I think. I
Hmm.
think it's a total blast, a lot of fun. But for me, it's really painful to go through all the negativity again, and
Hmm.
the character, because it's like I've dealt with the issues, so I'm cool with it.
Hmm.
But having them all played back, in audio and visual for two crammed into a 2 hour window is a lot to take, for anybody.
Oh.
Especially if
Hmm.
you're being honest with yourself about who you are and what you are.
Hmm. Was that a therapeutic in some ways for you, or was it more hard than therapeutic?
I've already done the therapy, so it wasn't
Hmm.
therapeutic. It was just hard.
Hmm. It's truly a great documentary. I mean, I think they did
Thank
a
you.
good job with it. I enjoyed watching it. I learned a lot more, and I've always respected your work. I mean, I feel like I respect everything that you've had to go through and all the hurdles you've had to go through just for your love, for this industry. And I'm sorry that you had to go through some of those things that you had to go through.
Thank you. But I think I had to go through them to grow as a person.
Hmm.
A lot of it, I think it all worked out. I always say that I would rather be happiest at the end of my life than in the middle or the beginning, because the end is when you're broken down, you're beat up, and if you're happy, if you're content, then you've got that. You know what I mean? But if
Hmm.
you're if your things aren't going right for you at the end of your life, then that sucks.
Oh yeah.
You
And was
know,
there
I
any
mean,
specific?
going through old age is hard enough.
Yeah.
Old age ain't for pussies. It's a tough racket getting old.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Was there anything specific that you wanted in this documentary that you
Yeah, I
made
wanted the
sure was
warts and
there?
all. I wanted the warts and all. I wanted them to see. I wanted people to see the complexity. I wanted people to see the negativity. I wanted to see people see all my traits, good and bad, front and center, and uh, and hopefully understand me better. My
Hmm.
fans and my friends, and you know, it's I think he did a great job with it.
I do too. I don't think a lot of people would have been as open or honest as you were.
I had no other way of doing it. That's who I am. I've always been
Hmm.
open and honest,
Hmm.
to a fault. You know,
Who do you want Raven to be remembered as?
one of the best, one of
Hmm.
the most unique character. I'd love to be known as the most unique character because, I think I'm the only character that has a three-dimensional, personality on screen.
Hmm.
I think everybody else is either cookie cutter or two-dimensional. I mean, there's some that are very deep, like Terry Funk and Flair,
Hmm.
but I feel like not to say I feel like I took it a step further than they
Hmm.
did because of the time and place where I worked. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for them or Dusty.
Hmm.
But I feel like I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I don't
Hmm.
put myself in that company. I don't think I don't consider myself one of them. Because I never achieved what they achieved.
You
In the
are in
ring, in the
that elite
ring.
class. You are
Well,
just
thank
as
you,
good.
thank you.
You do these conventions, you do signings, you do appearances, and your lines are always there's always people that want to talk to Raven and share their stories, and I'm sure tell you what you meant to them. So that means a lot for a lot of people. The sacrifices you made to become who you are today.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you had any advice for anybody getting into professional wrestling, what would it be?
Um, get a degree and to fall back on. Get a
Hmm.
college degree to fall back on, and watch as much wrestling as you can, good and bad. You'll learn from the bad as much as you'll learn from the good.
Hmm.
What to do, what not to do, and do what you think is right, and then try and find somebody to be a mentor figure. I was
Absolutely.
lucky I had the grappler.
Hmm.
He wouldn't. He didn't just teach me wrestling. He would make me teach myself, which is even better. Like I would
Hmm.
say, like I said, I want to have a cage match. I never been in a cage match at that point in Portland. Only a couple of years in the business, and I go. He goes, well, what are you going to do the week after? I go, I don't know. He goes, figure it out. So I figured. So I come back, the next day, and I go, oh, I could do this. He goes, what are you going to do the week before the cage match? I go, I don't know. He goes, figure it out. And he taught me how to think, like that, how to think critically about wrestling,
Hmm.
and how to build a story and how to tell a story. And he's the most underrated guy in the business, the grappler.
Hmm. Where can people reach out to you at?
They can listen to my podcast on the Raven Effect podcast, wherever you get your podcasts at. And yeah, I don't really go on Twitter. I've been on Twitter for the last month or two, just on because I'm pushing a movie.
Hmm.
But normally I don't go in there. Um, but yeah, then the documentary. You know,
Hmm.
just, if you type in Raven instead of Nevermore. If you type in Raven, they say it comes up after the RAV or the
Hmm.
RA, but at Nevermore you got to type all the way to the O to get
Yeah,
Nevermore to pull up, which is really weird.
because that's what I got it, and I got it through Prime. I figured it would be after the NEV, but no, you had to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, isn't that weird?
Hmm. Is there so it's available on Prime? Is it available anywhere else to watch?
Gather and what else? I forget. Everybody has Prime though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's truly a great documentary. It's truly it's a beautiful documentary to watch and to get to better know and understand who Raven is and all the struggles and everything that you went through. And it's something I highly recommend. Even if you're not like a diehard wrestling fan, it's something that everyone can relate to and watch and understand.
I think beautiful is a great compliment. You'd never think beautiful with wrestling.
Hmm.
They don't seem to mesh, but I think that's a great compliment that you said that it's a beautiful story because I feel like it tries to be, and I think it accomplishes that.
It absolutely does, sir.
Well, thank you.
I just want to say thank you for taking the time out today. Thank you for what you've done for professional wrestling and what you continue to do, sir. It's been an honor to watch you as I grew up. It's been an honor to take some of your time tonight and talk to you a little bit about your career and your documentary. The pleasure's been all mine, sir.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.
And if there's ever anything that I can do, please feel free to reach out, sir.
Uh, no, I don't think I need anything. But I'll keep you in mind if I ever need a new flunky.
It would be an absolute. I'll do whatever it takes. I assure you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.